G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. Those of you who've been paying attention to my channel will quite possibly recall a couple of days ago I showed you some video of a yellowtail black cockatoo prospecting for a witchetty grub in that Casuarina sub rosa, and I mentioned that I hoped when it fell the branch would not do any damage to the prism framed fire pond, swimming pool. And indeed, no damage was done. I spoke a couple of days ago of the way the yellowtail black cockatoo are capable of felling a tree, like a hardwood eucalyptus stringy bark tree, which at the time that this came down, before it had shrunk in the intervening 20 odd years, this was in fact the size of my thigh, and I'm not starving to death by any means. The wood has shrunk over the years, so they can bite a pretty fair sized sapling in half, so they can. And it turns out I have received secondary gains. Not only did the yellowtail black cockatoos not do any actual damage to the fire pool, but also they cleared my solar array of a shadow generator at midday in winter. So you'd have to say that was fortuitous, was it not? By cutting down that tree, or the branch off the top of it, it meant there's no shadow across the bottom of that bottom solar panel, and that's the 75 watt gruntiest panel on the array. Yeah, I can't actually see what the screen is showing, but I feel certain you'll get the idea. And so, not only but also, those of you who are paying particularly close attention may perhaps recall that the yellowtail black cockatoo took off and flew away and disappeared, headed in that general direction. And it turned out the next time I took the fire chariot off in that there direction, it turned out that the cockatoo lumberjacks, forest canopy management engineers, call them what you will, they had another project going on, same day, down this way. I'll just do a gentle, gradual, subtle 360 of the degree, the better for you to see. The cockatoos decided that this wattle tree, which has long been infested with various different styles of pests, was too sick to be left alone, so they did put it out of its misery. It's a pretty fair style of a size of a tree, like that's me hanging onto it, right? As you can see, it had leaves on it. It was a living tree. However, it wasn't in perfect health, and More importantly, from the point of view of a cockatoo, you can see there the track of the chewed up wattle tree, the inside lining of the case. Here's more of it. So what's gone on is the cockatoo has just come and chewed away a bit of wood here when there was a really strong westerly wind. And that means that the entire cantilevered spar of the tree trunk has failed on its windward side in tension. Nibble, 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 pull off a piece or two, crack, splat. Down goes the wattle tree, flat on the ground as you can see, put out of its misery. And the cockatoo just digs there into the crack, which has initially been produced by the grub that the cockatoo wanted to eat in the first place. And that sort of stuff goes on all the time in a forest with sufficient biodiversity and biomass. According to the principle that the more life occupies a space, the more life can occupy the space, as each species creates niches for at least 3 to 5 additional species in which they may exist. In an interspecies community, in a spirit of cooperation, such that the whole is more than the sum of its parts. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.